she knows she's not giving him anything. So I can imagine she might be worried that because she's not reciprocating anything or even giving him any hint of affection, that it may just play on her insecurities, that he might be looking somewhere else.
You can't blame him, though.
No, I can't. Not being funny.
Like, I wouldn't rough.
I wouldn't cheat, but if you weren't getting affection from someone that you love and you didn't know what you were doing wrong because they're simply not communicating, of course you would try and get like a little bit of attention from someone else.
Yeah.
Like,
because imagine being like rejected every single day.
Every single time you tried, even for a goodnight kiss.
Yeah.
And you got rejected.
And you're being pushed away. She
swatted him away at one point.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh, I'm tired." And when the couples were looking at her when they were sat in, like when they were reviewing the video, the couples were looking at her, and her excuse 3 separate times was, "Oh, I was really tired that night. I was really blackout that night." And it's like, you're using an excuse even now that you were really tired.
But that excuse doesn't fly. Like, I've been exhausted, but my partner will still come to me and I'll like give him a cuddle.
Or I'll say, I'll give him a kiss.
Yeah. And
say, "I'm really tired tonight." And just have a little bit of a conversation.
Yeah, and not just like turn around and fall asleep. It was really sad. I think it was really sad.
It was really sad.
Watching Aaron being constantly rejected, and like, I really felt for the guy.
Oh yeah, I did. I mean,
like really badly.
But having those insecurities where you feel like you just don't want to be touched and you don't want to touch the other person, it's a very real thing. Have experienced it, but it's not healthy from having sex 3 times a day to not even being able to talk to your partner about as to why you don't want to be touched.
Well, as Aaron said, he like questioned, does his partner desire him, and maybe he's not enough for her.
Yeah.
And I feel like this could be accentuated from the age gap. Like, it's not huge, but Aaron's 27 and LeBeau's that's the one. LeBeau's 29.
Mm-hmm.
And I can imagine if I was like so my partner's 25 and I'm 21, and I do sometimes think like, am I enough for him? Like, I know the age gap's there. But then I'm like, oh yeah, but we're fine.
Yeah, but you also see couples who are 7 years apart and their relationship's fucking perfect.
That's true. But I'm wondering if that also plays on his like insecurity.
Yeah.
Because it would for me.
What really pissed me off is Victoria and Brian.
Oh, so in the show they also have running commentary from the other couples, and Victoria and Brian, the couple we spoke about just before, the other couple, were really kind of snooty about them, and it was like, oh yeah, we actually have sex, but you don't have a functioning relationship. Brian
turned round and said it's almost like LeBeau was the boss of the relationship and the man should be the boss of the relationship. Like, yeah. Hun, she doesn't want to have sex with him. What is he supposed to do? Force himself on her? No.
Yeah.
Like, that is almost like what he's insinuating. Like, a man should be the boss of a relationship and tell the woman when he wants to have sex. That's not how it works.
No.
Absolutely not.
That's
how you get a black eye.
Brian is a scumbag.
He is.
We have...
Scumbag Brian!
Scumbag Brian. But yeah, I thought the way she reacted to the Snapchat was really controlling.
Yeah. I don't think telling the other girl who's Snapchatting him to fuck off was necessary. Like, asking Aaron to block this girl and leaving it up to him would have been a better approach.
Oh, yeah. Way better.
Like, not taking his phone and saying anything, saying, can you stop talking to her or can you block her, would have been a so much better approach.
Way healthier approach.
Yeah.
Because that was so controlling. Like, if the roles were reversed and Aaron had grabbed her phone and blocked her and told him to fuck off and was like, yeah, he's just a skank, there would be outrage. There would actually be complete outrage. Because how dare he touch her property? Mm-hmm. But how dare she touch his?
Yeah.
Because that's just so...
It's
controlling.
You're controlling a man that you can't even kiss goodnight.
Yeah. It's not healthy. Like, I can see why they came to the show.
Yeah, I can.
But
she almost doesn't even want to try and defend herself.
It's because there's nothing to defend. Like, okay, you don't want to have sex, but there's no excuse to not want to be kind to your partner. Like, try and understand your partner's needs. You've been together for 1.5 years. Like the therapist said, like, there's a honeymoon phase. You're out of the honeymoon phase now. You just need to learn how to deal with your differences.
Yeah. And that's through communicating, which they're not doing.
They're not doing it all. I feel bad for Aaron, like I said.
I do. I really do. He's just like a genuinely nice guy as well.
Yeah. And really attractive.
He is, though, isn't he?
He's gorgeous.
Brian's a bit of a munter.
Nice hair, though.
Nice hair. But Aaron... And he treats her so well.
Oh my god. He treats her like a princess.
We only see a week of what their world is. So you might have been playing up for the camera.
Yeah, but like I feel like if that was the case, she would have been like, he doesn't always act like that.
That's very true. But yeah, he just treats her really well, and I don't think they should be together.
I agree. That's the only thing I agree with what Brian has said, because Brian said that. Is that they shouldn't be together.
Yep.
But let's move on to our next couple and see if they should be together. So, we just finished watching the last part of the sex tape, episode 1, with Lindsay and Inhe.
Enley.
They said it Inhe.
She was Scottish. It's Enley.
Oh, my bad. What? Don't make a podcast at 3:34 in the morning, guys. So, Lindsay and Inley.
Yep. Well, yeah.
Just go with that. They are a lesbian couple, if you can't tell by their names. They're in their mid to late 20s. Their age isn't actually specified. And Lindsay is a photographer, and her partner is a full-time kind of mother, because she has a daughter. So, I asked you before we started recording, but I think it'll be more interesting to go into depth about it whilst we're here.
Yeah.
How did you find watching that couple? If you don't mind, like, an insight on your own sexuality, if you don't mind.
Uncomfortable. It's just... I don't know. It just wasn't right. It doesn't sit right with me at all. Emily couldn't even admit, even though she was sat next to her girlfriend, that she was gay.
She said that next to Lindsay in the kind of couples talking bit of it, when they kind of do private conversations off screen. Not off screen, but out of the group. She said that she's supposedly gay while sitting next to her partner.
Supposedly. And yeah. That doesn't sit well.
I found it very difficult to watch this episode when I first watched it. So I am, for the podcast, and probably everyone who knows me, I am an openly bisexual woman.
Mm-hmm.
And Kira, your sexuality is kind of fluid. You're pan. And I couldn't help feel sorry for Lindsay or Inley. I felt bad for both of them.
Mm-hmm.
Because I can't imagine trying to come to terms with your sexuality in a seriously committed relationship like that.
They live together.
They moved in February. They had the first date in February and moved in July. So they were together for 6 months before they moved in together.
And they'd never met before?
No. There was like a Tinder date.
That's moving in with a stranger.
Yeah. Very much so. When it was good, though, it seemed really sweet and really playful and really kind. But when they were having arguments, they were so intense and so explosive.
And it was always petty arguments. It was never... Like, they even admitted they couldn't really remember what they were arguing about.
No.
It was just, like, one thing was wrong and neither of them were taking constructive criticism, and it would blow up.
It was real childish arguments. Like,
oh, for sure.
And real childish ways of handling it. Like, just shouting at each other from the other side of rooms.
Yeah, like, oh, you're being a dick. Well, you're being a dick. And it's like, why?
Yeah, like, what is this actual argument? Why are you just calling each other dicks? Like, what is it? I think they're both quite standoffish and both quite cold.
Oh, massively. I think with the other two couples, there is always one person who tends to be more in the wrong. With this one, they're both in the wrong.
Yeah.
Because they're both feeding off each other's spitefulness.
And insecurities.
Massively. I don't know, it just doesn't sit right. It really doesn't. Like, they were really, really playful and seemed really, really happy. And then it would just change really quickly.
Yeah.
And it would... You know, they'd say that arguments last for days. So they're not talking about it, they're just fucking being
Shouting
angry
at
at people
each
and being
other.
stubborn about it for days on end. And one of them has a kid.
Yeah. It's not healthy for the kid to be around.
Not at all. Like, it's not like they're... Well, from what you can see, they're not being violent towards each other.
Yeah.
But they're not exactly having peaceful conversations left, right and centre, are they?
Mm.
What doesn't sit right with me is... Enley doesn't really accept that she's gay.
Yeah.
Like, coming out the closet to your friends and family is a fucking big thing.
It's difficult.
It's difficult.
So difficult.
Everyone has different experiences and everyone has their reasons as to why they do it.
Even if you have, like, the easiest experience, though, it's still difficult.
It's still difficult. I knew my mum fucking knew anyway, but I still cried my eyes out when I told her.
Yeah.
You know, but, like, you live with a woman and you're having sex with a woman and you claim to love this woman and you're still doubting on whether you're actually gay or not.
That must hurt Lindsay.
Can you imagine that? Can you imagine being in a relationship?
I'd be so hurt.
And someone going, I don't actually think I'm attracted to your sex. It's like...
Within the first year as well. Like, within the first 6 months.
Within the first...
Like,
not
not
sex,
even...
gender, that's the one I'm looking for.
Yeah, but, like, being, like, in the first 6 months, being like, I don't know if I'm attracted to you, but move in. It just seems so rushed.
Oh, God, yeah. The moving in together quickly is such a bad idea.
Oh, that's such a stereotype, though, isn't it?
Lesbians moving in together quickly.
Yeah. Like, it's just such a stereotype.
It is.
I think
I hate it, but it is.
Yeah. I think the thing I found difficult was, like, their sex, like, the sex we saw, obviously, under the duvet, seemed, like, really passionate and really great. But then Lindsay crying after.
And Emily...
Not really comforting her.
But then they said they were telling each other, I miss you, and kissing and hugging. And then she said, I don't know which one said, I miss you too. And she went, no, you don't. And yes, I do. No, you don't. Yes, I do. No, you don't.
Yeah.
And that was like, that's instantly standoffish. And if you don't think that that person misses you, then explain why, not just be like, no, you don't.
I think the thing that hurt, though, was, like, telling each other that they miss each other when they're standing right there.
Each other. Mm.
Like, I'll say to my partner, oh, I really missed you, or I really missed you today.
I'll say it to my friends.
Grabbed your face the minute I saw you and was like, miss you, care, never leave again. But, like, to say it in such a way where it's like, in this moment right now, I miss you.
Yeah.
Really just kind of hurt a bit. When I first watched this episode, I found it really difficult. As an openly bi woman who took, like, a long time to kind of come to terms with my sexuality, and my sexuality journeys are different for everyone, but mine was very up and down, knowing where I was, knowing who I wasn't, and all that stuff.
Mine was unsure because I was in a group in A-levels that was predominantly gay. We were a predominantly queer group.
Mm.
And it was the question like, well, Kira, you're definitely not fucking straight. And me going, well, I don't know what I am. I don't want to label myself because I don't feel like I need to. And everyone going, yeah, but what are you?
Yeah.
But what are you? So I was almost like emotional turmoil, felt like I needed to rush to label myself really quickly.
Yeah.
And I was just like, well, umbrella term, I'm queer. Like, I'm gay. Like, I like everyone. I don't care about gender, whatever,
race or sex or whatever.
Well, no, yeah, I don't care about anything. Like, if I genuinely get along with you and I find you sexually attractive, then fucking let's go, man. But like, it was almost like I came out quicker than I wanted to.
For me, I came out when I was 12 years old to my mother, because I knew by that point that I already loved women. and I told her I was bi, and she...
I didn't even know what bi meant when I was 12.